To you, it's 1:40. Now, the Shadow Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, he said he should have spoken up sooner at Stonewall and the National Union of Students to defend women, those women who voiced concerns about trans issues, specifically single-sex female spaces. He said that women should not have been written off as bigots because they wanted to protect these women-only spaces, and said he regretted that he'd not spoken up sooner in support of women with gender-critical views. Well, let's speak with the Director of Campaigns at Sex Matters, Fiona McAnena. Fiona, thank you very much indeed for joining us on this. Wes Streeting, he's had a bit of a complicated relationship with this issue over the months and years. Do you understand where he stands now?
I think we're happy to take him at his word. If a senior member of the Labour front bench, like Wes Streeting, is now saying we have to be able to have these conversations about the conflict of rights between trans demands and the needs and rights of women and girls, we welcome that. I think the number one thing that we'd love to see, whoever wins this election, is that they clarify the Equality Act, because that's the place where all of that, where the rubber hits the road. You know, everyone is protected from discrimination, from violence, but there are times where sex matters and we can't pretend that people have changed sex, because they can't do that. And so it's really welcome to hear Wes Streeting say this.
Yeah, but Fiona, there is a massive issue at play here, which is that it's all very well and good for Wes Streeting to say you're not a bigot if you don't want men in your changing rooms. But unfortunately, the Labour Party also wants to make it easier for adults to change gender, which would mean more men in women's changing rooms. So how do you feel about that?
I think it depends on what this notion of changing gender means. You know, the law, in theory, says that you cannot self-identify into the space that's reserved for the opposite sex. And whether you have a piece of paper that says you've changed sex doesn't, well, it's a little unclear. That's what needs to be clarified. But for example, in sport, right now, it's crystal clear that there is no need for sports bodies to be letting men who say they're women take part in women's events. That can be changed right now. So the really important thing here is to have politicians leading the conversation and enabling all of us who want to have this conversation to speak the truth and sort this out.
Who do you trust more when it comes to this issue of protecting female-only spaces, the Conservatives or the Labour Party? Because the electorate have a choice, and this is an issue for quite a few women out there.
I think it's an issue for some men as well as women. I don't know the answer to that question. I have not decided yet who I will vote for. But as a charity, we at Sex Matters will welcome any move by an elected politician to clarify the Equality Act and to defend the rights of women and girls.
Is there a degree of cynicism at play here? Because I think before the Cass review, that we were not hearing this from the Labour Party at all. In fact, it was quite the opposite. In fact, there was some really quite strongly worded, very, very emotional and fruity language involved as well when it came to people who were saying the kind of things that you say, that many people say out there. So this reverse ferret is one of quite epic proportions, isn't it? Is there an issue with credibility here?
Well, I think a lot of politicians have made a change. And I think what's really exciting here is how far the conversation has shifted to now have senior politicians explicitly saying we're not, you know, women like us are not bigots. This is a legitimate concern. I think that's a much better place in which to move forward.
Yeah. Yes, I think so. Thank you very much indeed, Fiona McAnena. You are the Director of Campaigns at Sex Matters. Always great to speak to you. Thank you.